Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back in here on PlayStation Source. And if you guys missed yesterday's State of Play, you guys should go watch it, okay? We did a full reaction stream. Definitely go watch that, it's on the channel. And also, if you just want to cut to my reaction of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade PS5 version, you can watch that separately. I did post it separately up on the channel. Definitely check that out as well, because your boy went through some things during that whole thing. It was insane.
Because I knew there was going to be an update.
Your girl finally made it to Midgard.
Did not want to play it through.
Wait.
Oh,
Is that fucking...
My name is Yuffie.
Oh shit! I lost my mind. It was my birthday. It was the best birthday present I had ever received. But let's go over all the info that we got here from this title. Of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the PS5. Okay, so first up here, it is releasing on June 10th, 2021. So not that long we gotta wait for it. Not that long we gotta wait until 60 frames up on Final Fantasy VII on PS5. And also, fun little fact, it is a day before Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart comes out. So your boy is gonna be busy. I was gonna stream Final Fantasy VII Remake, but then I realized that it was the same time as Rift Apart. I may take precedence on Rift Apart, and we may delay the Final Fantasy VII playthrough. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that whole thing, or if I'll just wait until part 2 comes out later on in the future, but they do come out back-to-back days. However, of course, Square Enix is definitely no shy to not offering free upgrades, but that does not carry over to this title, because indeed, if you have the PS4 version, it is a free upgrade to the PS5 version. You love to see it. However, if you're just picking up FF7 Remake, buying the FF7 Remake Intergrade version for the PS5 will give you access to all the upgrades on the PS5 version, as well as a new episode featuring Yuffie. Yes, I said the word Yuffie. Now, we will get to that in a moment later on in the video, but first up, let's go over the main FF7 Remake PS5 version details here, because there's a lot here to cover. But first up here, of course, those that are utilizing the PS4 to PS5 upgrade will be able to purchase the episode separately, which is great to hear, because a lot of people were wondering if you could even buy the Yuffie episode separately. You will be able to as well. Good to hear right there. There was no price given, but I'm expecting around $15 to $25. We'll see. Honestly, more FF7 Remake content to me is priceless. I don't care what it is, I'll pay it. That's just me. It is what it is, right? But the game will also include PS5 DualSense support for that haptic feedback. You love to hear that, as well as those pesky saves will transfer from PS4 to PS5 via an update to the PS4 version that will be added in the update to transfer your save. And so it's very similar to how they did the Spider-Man PS4 saves to the remastered, where you had to boot up the PS4 version and then initiate the save transfer, and then you'll be good when you boot up the remastered version. So good right there, good to hear. You love to see it. Let's go into the actual game and what has changed in the game. Of course, the main appeal is those visuals. The visuals were looking insane on the State of Play, and when you look at it over here on screen as well, it is looking fantastic. Okay, they updated the PS5 graphics. They look crazy. Updated textures are looking incredible. We have fog effects and all that good stuff. We have the lighting, which looks very, very dynamic. Is looking great. I was very impressed by how this game is looking on PS5, and of course, it looked great on PS4 already, but just giving it that extra oomph, giving it that extra level of fidelity on the PS5 is surely welcome. I love to see it. It was fantastic. However, the game will of course look a lot better on graphics mode. Yes, there are two different modes for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade version. The first one here is graphics mode. You will be getting a version of the game that prioritizes 4K HDR resolution, so of course high dynamic range support as well as that 4K. They do say it prioritizes, so it won't be 24/7. I'm sure the game will kind of render at a lower P at some points, but overall it will be hitting 4K most times, often than not. And then performance mode will be in 60 frames. We weren't told what resolution the game will be running in on 60 frames on performance mode, but listen, I don't care. The way this game's combat works, it will work fantastically in 60 frames. You need to play this game in 60 frames, okay? I'm gonna check out the, graphics mode. I'm gonna see how it's looking. I'm gonna see how it looks great and everything. But just like Spider-Man Miles Morales, 60 frames is the way to go for sure. better, right? So that's what I'm definitely doing. But there's another way to play. If you guys did play on classic mode back on the original Final Fantasy VII Remake, what it would do was that it would make the live action combat automatic, which allowed your main gameplay to focus on picking which commands are next during combat, very similar to the original Final Fantasy VII, that being of course a turn-based game. And the problem was that in this classic mode, it was only on easy, but now with this new version of the game, you will be able to play it on normal difficulty as opposed to having to only being tied to easy difficulty when you're playing on classic mode. You will have the option to now play on normal difficulty or easy difficulty, which is a great thing to hear because I know a lot of people love that classic mode and they want a little more difficulty in their game even though they're playing mainly turn-based. So that's great to hear right there. Of course, it doesn't really need to even be said, but loading times looked insanely great. They were cut down dramatically because definitely you were waiting at some loading screens in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the original version on PS4. They have definitely gone back and sped up those loading times, which is great to see as well on PS5. Lastly here, the main core feature that was added to the original Final Fantasy VII Remake in the Intergrade version is photo mode. Oh my gosh, let's go guys. I cannot wait to share so many photo modes. I'm gonna use the hell out of it. It is accessed by the pause menu. You hit square, then you get into photo mode. Wherever you pause that, you can change the camera position, filters, angles, exposure, the tilt, all the great stuff. Okay, I cannot wait for it. And of course, co-host of Save Stop Podcast, my boy Iraq Knight, does love that photo mode, so I cannot wait to see what he does with it. It's gonna be fantastic. I cannot wait. Alright, what's going on guys? This is TKD from the editing booth really quickly here. So I did forget to mention in this entire video that the Yuffie DLC, the Yuffie chapter that we're about to go over in detail, is only for PS5. They did say that it was designed and optimized for the PlayStation 5, so it will not be on the PS4 version. It will never make it to PS4. Just had to throw that in there just in case some people were confused about that whole thing. Now lastly here, we have to talk about the main addition to this version of Final Fantasy VII on PS5. That is of course the Yuffie episode. Now this Yuffie episode is going to bring in the iconic character in Final Fantasy VII, Yuffie. You know, we have yet to see Vincent Valentine. Where's that homie? Although we did get a little hint of Dirge of Cerberus, as someone did comment on the reaction for me, definitely letting me know that hey, that little clip at the end before we get the date of this release did have a little bit of a snippet of Dirge of Cerberus, so that is crazy to see as well. So we may get some more Vincent Valentine, but let's talk about the Yuffie episode here that is coming to the version of the game because it is looking so good, so fantastic. And given where we were at here and the different dialogue and different context that they gave for this Yuffie episode, it looks like it takes place during the segment where Cloud gets separated from the group and lands in Aerith's church when they fall during the battle at the Shinra building, if you guys recall that, where during the game when we got it in the original remake, we have that whole section with Aerith and we go to the different sector with the kids and all that great stuff, whatever. During that time, we will be playing now from the perspective and see what was going on with Tifa and the rest of the gang, you know, Barrett and Jesse and Biggs and all that and Wedge, and now we will get Yuffie as well in this whole segment and see what they were up to while Cloud and Aerith were off doing their own thing. So this is an official posting from Square Enix and what they describe this whole Yuffie episode to be. Quote, "You'll play a brand new adventure as Yuffie Kirasagi, a new playable character for this episode. This ninja from Wutai sneaks her way into Midgar and devises a plan with Avalanche HQ for a thrilling mission to steal the ultimate materia from the Shinra Electric Power Company. This new story episode will introduce you to new characters and features expanded gameplay with new combat additions. You'll gain a new perspective on the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake, getting a taste of what else was going on in Midgar while Cloud and company were doing their thing." So it looks like in this episode you'll be playing as Yuffie and this new person named Sonnen, which we did not know of beforehand, but Sonnen, who seems to be a new character, seems to be working with Avalanche HQ and him working alongside them and does reference, you know, Avalanche and all that, and they are in an Avalanche HQ room when we see Yuffie and Sonnen talk as well, so that's very interesting. But I bet you'll also have a lot of parts where you're playing as Tifa and Barrett, what they were doing. Maybe we can see how Tifa got captured by Don Corneo and stuff like that. So ultimately, yo, just this specific part of the remake is so interesting to me, and I cannot wait to see what they do here with the Yuffie episode. I'm very, very excited. Can't wait to play as my girl Yuffie. It's gonna be lit. And the last thing here we do gotta bring up is the different editions that will be available to be purchased for this edition. So once again, just to be very, very clear, if you already own Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS4, you will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version with no extra cost, as well as the save will transfer from PS4 to PS5, and then you will have the ability to buy the Yuffie episode separately with a price that is undisclosed currently at this point. However, the standard edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade version will give you the base game of FF7R enhanced for PS5, the Yuffie episode, and the Cackstar item as well, which is of course Yuffie's iconic weapon from the original game. That all will cost you $70. However, if you want to go a little bit further and get that digital deluxe edition, you will get everything that is in the standard edition of the FF7 Intergrade version, as well as including a digital art book and a digital mini soundtrack for $90. So that is it, guys. There it is. That is all the info on Final Fantasy VII Intergrade version for the PS5. Honestly, I was completely taken aback. It was a surreal experience to see this get announced. It's everything I've ever wanted in FF7 Remake on PS5, and then some. I cannot believe that we got a Yuffie episode. Like, we are getting that, and I do have some more videos coming up, I think going further about what I think this episode will encapsulate, because I do think that it will take a lot from the cut out Tifa chapter that does take place during the same time frame. So very interested to make that video as well. But overall, guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts down below in the comment section? Are you excited to play FF7 in the best possible way on PS5, or are you a newcomer and are interested in this game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and make sure also while you are down there, you can check out our description where you can find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link. That way you can listen to our long form content and podcast format, those of course being the Road 2 series, as well as Save Slot Podcast as well. And make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as hit subscribe to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.